Hey, friend, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast and YouTube channel. On today's episode, which is the sixth part of the How to Start Your Organizing Business series, today we are going to be talking about what is your process? What is the process that you will be taking your clients through? And when a client asks, "Oh, well, can you tell me a little bit more of what it looks like to work with you?" Do you have that answer for them? Because I didn't. When I first got started, one of the very first people that called me, that found me on Google, she called me, we talked for a few minutes, and then she's like, "Hey, so I don't know if this is the right type of service that I'm even needing." She explained a little bit about the fact that she had just moved, but it had been like 4 months. She still had some boxes, but she had some other things going on too, and she's like, "I don't even know if these are the services I need. Can you explain a little more of what it looks like to work with you?" And I immediately froze because I didn't know what it looked like to work with me. I didn't even know I needed a process, as dumb as that sounds, like looking back on it now. But of course, when our clients call, because we always have to put ourselves in their shoes. When our clients call, they want to know, what does it look like to work with you? I see that, on your website, here are your services, or I see on Google that it says that you do these things, but what does that actually mean? What can I expect? And so I want to help you create your what does it look like to work with me statement. That way, when a client asks, you're able to tell them, this is what it looks like to work with me. So if you've never been to one of my podcast episodes or you've never been a part of my YouTube channel, hi, I'm Samantha Brown. I'm a professional organizer, a business coach, and I'm on a mission to help women start professional organizing businesses that they are passionate about, that are purpose driven, and that they know their mission in this life and who they're meant to help. That way, you can stand out in your market and you are able to actually help the people that you're called to help. So let's start with the actual client process. Now, I will be doing an episode later in this series about your client's expectations. But right now, let's talk about the process. Like, what is the client process? So, first, everything you do need to look at it from the client's perspective. When they go to your website, when they book or click the link that says book a call, or they fill out the form that says book my consultation or book my phone call, then you need to know, okay, these are the steps I'm taking them through. This is my funnel. This is the process of what I want them to do. That way it's easier to build your website. It's easier to build the content on your website. It's easy to tell people where to go. You have an exact process that you take your clients through. Now, your process is going to evolve as you evolve and as you work with more clients, but you have to start somewhere. And so from the beginning, you want to think about the simple little things. So again, on your website, make sure that there's multiple places where when they click the button, it sends them to the form to fill out. When they fill out the form, you want to make sure, or if they decide to just call you with the phone number that they find, that like your voicemail is set up in a professional way. Then you want to get on the phone call and you want to ask yourself things like, what is the objective of the phone call? And how do I want to be perceived on this phone call? And then, of course, you need the client intake form so you know what questions to ask during the phone call. But from a bigger picture of the process, what is the point of the phone call? Well, the point of the phone call is to book the consultation. And I always try to help my ladies understand, especially in the beginning, you want to do a free in-home consultation. And the reason I say that is for so many reasons. But what I have learned is in the beginning, it's very hard to hop on a Zoom call and look at a space and be like, oh, okay, I know exactly what to do. That's the consultation. I'll be there for the session. You need to learn how to interact with people. You need to learn how to like be like, hey, do you mind if I open some drawers and doors during the consultation? Because sometimes they may say one thing, then you get to the consultation and it looks like something kind of like what they described, but a little bit different. But then on the day of the session, you arrive and you're like, oh, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. I didn't ask enough questions, or I didn't realize the scope of the project, right? So your process literally is as simple as you want to get them to the website, you want them to book a phone call with you. On the phone call, the point and the step of the phone call is to figure out if you all are a good fit to work together with questions like, where are you located? What is the time frame? Because if their time frame is, oh, I need this done by Friday and it's already Monday, well, then it's probably not going to be a good fit and it's not going to actually get done correctly the way it needs to be done. So the point of the phone call is to book the free in-home consultation, and you want to make sure to let them know those things. But during the phone call, you need to make sure they're a good fit. And again, where are they located? Make sure they're in your radius of where you're willing to drive for an in-home consultation. And then you also need to ask them what areas need to be organized. You need to get a feel for what their goals are in working with you, what had them reach out, those types of questions, and then just let them talk. Now, if you realize, okay, they're within my 30-minute radius, the time frame, they say they would ideally like it done within a month or so, but they don't really have a time frame. And you realize, okay, check, like this, yes, this seems like a good client I would want to work with. Well, then the point of the phone call at the end of it is to book that free in-home consultation. Now, when you go for the free in-home consultation, you want to make sure that you are still qualifying them to know that you are the right fit to work with them. And that's why I advise free, because if you charge for the consultation, it almost feels like you're already locked in with them as your client. There have been not a ton, but there have been a few clients that when I went for like during the phone call, there's a little bit of like, I'm not really sure if we're a good fit. And then we get to the consultation and either the energy's off or something doesn't feel right, or the scope of the session. And what I realize, I'm like, ooh, they need a team, because even though they said their time frame was about a month or so, they still are they seem now like they're really like in a hurry to get this done, and it's a whole house project, or like every circumstance is different, every client is different. And then so you want to ask those questions during the consultation. You want to make sure that they are a good fit to work with you, and that you're the right fit to work with them, and that they feel comfortable. And then the other point of the consultation is to get measurements if you need it. It's to get them to sign the contract, to set up all of the details of, the payment and that kind of thing. And then from there, you move to your sessions. Now, whether you're doing packages, sessions, or hourly, if you go back to episode 104, that episode is about me helping you figure out which pricing model is the best for you in your business, which is a piece of this puzzle, because you need to know these things. So when they do reach out and when you are marketing your business or talking to people, you know how to explain to them the steps that you take them through. So when you're at the consultation step and you've realized, okay, like this is going to work, and then you're like, okay, let's go ahead and the way that I work is, because you should already have your paperwork ready and know if you're going to do sessions or packages. But let's say you do sessions like I recommend and like I do. So then you let them know it's a 4-hour session. The cost of the 4-hour session is blank, which normally they ask that at the phone call, but you remind them during the actual consultation. And then you ask them, would you like to take this one step at a time and just book one session? Or you tell them, hey, the scope of the project, I'm seeing that, you are wanting your dining room, living room, and craft room done. And I really feel like we should start in the dining room so we can clear a lot of that space first. Or I'm feeling like we should start in the craft room, wherever you feel like you should start. And then you need to say, hey, our first session really needs to be a decluttering session. So let's look at your calendar. What does your calendar look like? And, oh, let me pull up my calendar. This is what my calendar looks like. And you pick a day and time to work together. And then you come for the session. And then the way that I do it with my clients, which you could do the same, is literally take them one step at a time of, hey, we could book multiple sessions back to back if you're on a time constraint, or we really can take this one step at a time, keep the momentum going. You can get some homework done in between. And then when I come back, we pick up where where we've left off or where you've gotten to. And then we just keep the momentum going, like whether that's once a week or once bi-weekly, because pricing matters too. Some people can afford it and it's not an option, it doesn't matter to them. And then other people are like, well, I really can only afford one session per paycheck. Great. Let's do bi-weekly, one session every other week until we get the job done. But to save money in between sessions, before I leave each session, I'll give you an idea of a few things that you could be accomplishing in between our sessions, right? So there's different ways to talk to them about these things, but the point is knowing what your process is. Now, then after that, the session gets done and then you can follow up with them later on. We're going to get way more into a lot of this stuff later in the series, more with like the client expectation side. I do want to talk a little bit more and go in more depth of each one of these pieces. But when it comes to the overall big piece of this is what it looks like to work with me, let me give you my example of what I tell clients. It starts on the phone call, which I already know. I have my pricing on my website. I have all of the, step one is this, step two is this, and this is what this includes. And you can go to lovelifeorganized.co and look at my services page to see exactly how I have it set up. But it's very upfront. It explains to them everything. What's so funny is most people still call me and they haven't even looked at my services page, or they see my Google and they're like, hey, I read the reviews. I knew you were my person. So I just called and thought we could talk about it. So by the time when they get to me and, they're calling me and they've reached out, they've not seen barely any of my stuff. They've read a few reviews. They've seen a few before and afters. They may have seen a little bit of my homepage or the website, and then they reach out. So then it is up to me to help them understand this is what it looks like to work with me. So what I tell the clients is, we're on the phone call right now. We're going to talk. I need to understand a little bit more of the scope of the project. The next step is the free in-home consultation. And then from there, we will book sessions. I like to take my clients one step at a time, so that way I don't get overwhelmed and you don't get overwhelmed. Now, when it comes to the pricing, a decluttering session is $297 for a 3-hour session. But at the end of that 3 hours, I will haul away any donations or trash from that day's session. And if it's an organizing session where I need to measure and, get links and find a lot of products and maybe even go shopping for those products, then it's actually $397 for the 3-hour session. So it's worth my time, to do the measuring and all that stuff. But I know that's a lot of information. And so the point is I'm going to come do the consultation. That's our next step. And then from there, once you show me around, we will come up with a game plan together of where we need to start. And then just know that we will go one session or one step at a time until we get your house gone through or your goal accomplished. Now, and I tell them this, if you need one session per week, one session every other week. You only need one session a month until we can get the process gone through. Whatever you are most comfortable with, whatever you can afford, because I understand that it's expensive to a certain extent. But I promise you, if you will even just book this one session with me, we will get so much done that you will then see the value of working with me and doing one session at a time. How does that sound to you? And then they'll tell me, oh, that sounds great. And then I'll say, do you have any additional questions? Because you want to make sure you follow up after telling them what it looks like to work with you. You want to follow it up with, how is that, how does that feel to you? Or like, do you, and do you have any more questions, or do you have any other questions for me? You want to make sure you've answered all their questions. So then you're not hopping off the phone and then they're spiraling, right? But the point of that phone call is to tell them, these are the steps. This is what it looks like to work with me. We're going to take it one step at a time. I have got your back. Like, this is and I tell them too, I work with you, not for you. I love, I can work for you if you would like me to, but I enjoy working with my clients so we can actually get the thing done. Now, for you, your little phrase like that may be totally different. Maybe you prefer to work for your clients, not with them, right? Um, and so you just want to make sure that the point of this is what it looks like to work with me is that you are setting the expectations from the very beginning, mainly the phone call. So then that way, if they hear something they don't like, or they're like, ooh, that's just way too out of my budget, or they're like, oh, what I really need is someone who can come in here and get the whole house done in a day, or whatever it is, they can go ahead and tell you, and then you're not wasting any more time going to the free consultation and, doing all the other stuff for them to just tell you there. You want to be very upfront with your clients from the beginning. And then that sets a tone to where they're like, oh, this girl knows, here's what it looks like to work with her. These are the steps she's going to take me through, and we are going to get this done together. And she's going to be here with me. And I tell some of them, now, if you want to do a few sessions and then we need to take a break for a month or two until you can save up a little bit more money, and then we can come back and do a few more. Like, a lot of people that call me, they have been in the state they're in for years. And so I tell them, listen, you said, because I always let them talk first, ideally, before I go too much into what it looks like to work with me. I find out as much as I can about them. And so then I'm able to relate it to them of, well, now you said it's been this way for like 4 years. And so we're not going to get the whole house organized overnight. This is a process. And so maybe we can, come in and do a few sessions, get the momentum going, and then we take a break for a couple months to give you time to, learn the new processes, see if they're working. Then I can come back in. We can do another decluttering session to see if there's more that we can get rid of or see what we need to tweak. I can and I tell them the reason I do sessions instead of package pricing is because I want you to know that I can work with you one day and then, work with you at the pace that works best for you. This sets it up in a way that I get paid every day for the work I've done that day. And that is all I expect of you is, payment on the day of service before I leave for that day's work, because I don't believe in getting paid for work I've not yet done. And we'll just take it one step at a time. How does that sound to you? Now, it has taken me a long time to get to a very specific, because I don't even know how many phone calls I've done. But the point of the phone call and that this is what it looks like to work with me is to verify for them and for yourself that this is a good fit. So you're not wasting time. And so then that way, again, their expectations are where they need to be of what it looks like to work with you. Because even if they've worked with an organizer before, I can guarantee you her processes are going to be different than what your process is. So if you feel stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, Samantha, that sounds amazing, but I don't even know what steps I want to take my clients through, you can always book an unstuck coaching session with me. The link will be in the show notes. You can go to proorganizerscoach.com. and you and I can hash this out together if you're to that point of the process. Like if you're at this point of the process where you have all of your foundational stuff ready, you have gotten everything done on the business side of things and you're ready to start working with clients and getting phone calls, then you definitely want to make sure that you know what to say during the phone calls, right? And that you're able to set your clients up for success and set yourself up for success so they understand from the jump what it looks like to work with you. And then that way you're both on the same page all the way through the collaboration and the time together. And by the end, they are so happy because it was exactly what you said it was. And then that's when you get those amazing reviews and those clients that are your marketing machine and they love you and they're so thankful for the work that you have done for them and for how much you have helped to change their life. So I hope that this has helped you kind of understand a little bit more of why you need a "this is what it looks like to work with me" statement, and why you need to know the process that you take your clients through based on the pricing model, based on, you know, how you want your clients to do things. Do you prefer to work with clients that are wanting it done in a chunk of time and are wanting, every week you only want to work with one client? Do you maybe want to offer Klarna or some kind of like paying system that pays you up front and then they make payments to them? There's so many different ways you can set it up if you prefer like package pricing. Um, and again, it's based on who are you trying to help? What are you trying to help them do? And then what is the process that would work best for them? So, your homework is to do some journaling on your client's process and to just kind of build a little bit of a funnel in a way of, step one is the phone call. During the phone call, these are my goals. Step two is the consultation. Step three is the sessions or the packages, however you're going to do it. And then condense that down into a maybe 4 or 5 sentence thing of "this is what it looks like to work with me. These are the steps I'm going to take you through." And just maybe having that written out somewhere. So when you do with your intake forms. So when you do start getting some phone calls, it's very easy for you to say those things and you have that piece of paper right there that you can read to them if it needs to be scripted for you, if that would help you so you don't get tongue tied in the beginning, right? Anything that we can do. I remember I used to sit in front of the mirror and I would practice my episodes for me to come on here and teach you all. And it's every part of what we're learning is fantastic. It's scary, it's exciting. And so just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and know that if you need anything, please DM me or put a comment below. But definitely make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you're listening on the podcast, please go give me a 5-star review if you've gotten any value from any of my episodes. I am always here for you. Make sure to go read the description in the show notes because I have a little gift for you if you are looking for a discount for my course. I have a discount for you for either one of the courses, either the How to Start Your Business course or the website course. It's $50 off if you put "save 50" in all caps. So make sure to do that. And then I also have a gift for you of a back to school special I'm currently running, which I know it's not technically back to school time still, but you know what? That's okay. The point is that you can come join the group coaching community for $33 per month. And because I want to be able to continue to offer this to you at a discounted rate. And I want you to get the value of what I know that having the course and then the community and then the other course, but having those steps and then having us to support you along the way. I have got your back. I have built this entire system out for you. So if you need help creating your system, I am the girl. I will help you do it. And I just need you to reach out and let me know so I can support you on your journey of wherever you are in starting your amazing business. I'm so proud of you. I'm praying for you, and I will see you in the next episode.